countries go through hyperinflation all the time, when that happens, it leads to havoc. Like, you don't want to live in those worlds. If your entire well-being is dependent on the exploitation of other people, you don't want a fair society. You want to keep on exploiting them, because if you stop exploiting them, it means you're going to be a whole lot poorer. Bitcoin is so freaking special. This thing is so much bigger than a stock. This thing is so much bigger than gold. This thing is so much bigger than real estate. Yeah, we just missed like the best 5 minutes, man. That was a great intro.
Yeah, that was a
no
good intro. I know. You know what? From now on, every guest that I have, I don't care. I'm just gonna start recording. I don't care what we talk about. I'm not gonna miss anything anymore.
Yeah, you can cut it.
Yeah,
you can always cut it up later.
Oh, of course.
So what's up, man?
Not much, man. How about yourself, my man?
I'm good. So tell me, how is this new interview stuff going for you? How's the channel going?
Honestly, I like it. I don't think I told you that yet, but the name of my podcast is the Bitcoin RX podcast. Like, Bitcoin RX, like pharmacy, like where I'm trying to like orange pill the new people ish. So, and then I have this theme now that I say, like, where it's a weekly dose of orange pill so you don't die from fiat disease. That's, I don't know, I'm trying to like be creative.
That's amazing.
And make things up. I don't know. It sounds a little corny, but
so that you don't die from the fiat disease. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah. So that's the goal of this podcast. So trying to reach like new people that are like kind of like people that don't know what the problem is, and also that are on the edge about investing into Bitcoin. Well, investing, I guess, saving into Bitcoin. I hate the word investing into Bitcoin. It's just, to me, it's a savings account. So that's the
I mean,
thing.
today investing is saving. There's not really much of a
basically.
Point.
Oh yeah. So that's that, man. So I like it. So tell us a little bit. I know we're just talking about your channel. Actually, do you mind telling us a little bit about your channel, actually?
Yeah, so absolutely. So I started a new channel. It's on the screen, but it's Through the Cracks Productions. Basically, what I'm creating little mini documentaries about kind of the underworld of economics. And the first video that I already have up there, it's really about the history of money. Why is Bitcoin valuable? And I really talk about prison economics. So I go deep into prisons and I explain how the lessons that we learn from prison economies really teach us a lot about Bitcoin and money in general. But what this new channel is really about is creating videos that are more tangentially related to Bitcoin. So not necessarily about Bitcoin directly per se, but every video is going to explain why Bitcoin, or why the current system is so effed up. And that will kind of hopefully lead some people to Bitcoin. And even if it doesn't, I think all the stories and and all the things I learn in this channel just by making the videos are absolutely incredible. So new video dropping soon.
I like that. I mean, I already seen the first one. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. I like the documentary style that you have going on. So yeah. This is good.
Tell me, did you learn anything from it?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I mean, I already knew the majority of that stuff from, like, obviously like doing my research on Bitcoin up, but it was very well put together. Like it's a video where I'm like, I think I shared it with my mom and my sister. I was like, oh wow, this is good, actually. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, because it's just like, awesome. It's actually like, yeah, it's well put together. Like I really like that one. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Not that I didn't learn anything about it, but it was like perfect format. I like it, honestly. Yeah.
Perfect. Because in the new videos, it's really interesting. So my newest video, hopefully, I don't know when this video is going to come out, or I don't know, like this interview is going to come out, but my next video is going to be about the Iraq invasion, Saddam Hussein, the real reasons why he was a threat to the United States, which, spoiler alert, had nothing to do with weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah. Whew, good Jesus. All right. Yeah. This is going to be spicy.
Yeah, but in order to really do it justice, I had to go back in time, and I had to start in like the 1940s and talk about like the buildup of events and how that eventually led to everything that it led up to. But
now that one I don't know. That one I don't know anything about. So I mean, I've heard rumors, but so I'm sure I'm probably gonna learn plenty about like the whole Saddam Hussein thing. So I'm excited to see that one, man. Dude, that's amazing. Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
tell us a little bit about your background though, man. Like, what did you used to do before all of this? Your financial plans before Bitcoin. Like, what was life like before you got introduced to Bitcoin?
Yeah, I mean, before I got introduced to Bitcoin, that feels like such a long time ago now.
Yeah.
But really, my financial plan was to uh, so I got out of college in kind of the startup phase when everyone had their own startup. You know what I
Yep.
mean? That
Yeah.
that kind of era.
Yep.
Um, and I started learning web development. I started making my own applications, and I was like, I mean, I knew that the system was messed up, and I knew that in order to be successful, I just had to work for myself, start my own company, and become like a multi-gazillionaire. And the
Yeah.
way that I tried to do that was start my own startups. I was in that scene for a while. Um, Nothing really planned out too successfully. I had a couple of startups that did okay, but nothing that made like a big exit or anything. And
Yep.
then I switched over. I found Bitcoin, and then once I found Bitcoin, my entire outlook really changed because now I didn't have to put on like this hustle culture, hustle mentality kind of thing. I just had the opportunity to slowly stack in Bitcoin
Mhm.
and kind of work a typical 9 to 5 job with really good work-life balance. And now I've just been enjoying
Yeah.
life.
Yep.
I still work a 9 to 5, but
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
because
yeah.
of Bitcoin, I'm super wealthy. Or I don't
Yeah.
know
Oh
if
yeah.
super wealthy is the right word, but
Yeah. No. Yeah. I feel that. No. I like the way you said it. Like the hustle. That you feel like you don't have to hustle as much anymore because like you now feel like, okay, my savings is not gonna like be rotting away. I don't like. I'm like you can kind of like chill, save your money, and continue doing what you have to do. It's kind of like I mean, just like you. I mean, I'm still working another job, but like now I'm like, okay, I can relax and do something that I actually enjoy and not feel pressured to like keep up with
ex-
life as much anymore.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Exactly,
such
because
a
it's like
relief.
before Bitcoin, if I didn't work,
Oh,
I
you
was
felt
gonna have to
behind.
move in with my parents,
Yeah,
like that
exactly,
would have been
exactly.
terrible.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah, it's
now
like, mom, I'm coming back.
and it's like you want to keep on making more money. You're willing to put in 70-hour weeks to try and get this rat race. And
Yeah,
now I'm basically retired. I have a
yeah,
job,
yeah,
but
yeah.
if they were to fire me tomorrow, I could retire and it's not that big of a deal.
I like that. I like it, it's a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling. I know. I'm like, it's kind of it's a good feeling, but I'm like, damn, how do I like like how do it's like how do you make people realize that they need this so that they can feel as free as we are? I guess. I mean, we're not like 100% free yet, but we're getting there, right? Like
Yeah.
slowly but surely. Like that's. I think that's where the this podcast and your channel. I think that's where we're going at in a way, trying to get more people to
Well, it's
like
because a lot of people, I think, get blindsided by the money. And
yeah.
don't get me wrong, because money is super important.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, the reason why you want a lot of money is to be able to live the life that you want to live. And
Yep.
a lot of people, they have you ever heard of the term like the golden handcuffs
The
or
golden
golden
handcuffs.
shackles?
I don't think I have. No, what does it mean?
So basically, what golden handcuffs are is there's a lot of jobs out there that work you to the bone, but they pay you a lot of money.
Hmm.
And you get put into this situation where we call it the golden handcuffs, where you are constantly living at work, you're constantly grinding, and you've developed this lifestyle that's, in my opinion, a really unhealthy lifestyle where you have to have really expensive toys, really expensive cars, really expensive suits, and your cost of living is just so freaking high.
Yep.
And then what that means and that turns you into is a person that can't quit their job. You need to keep on working those 70-hour weeks so
Yep.
that you
Just
can
to
keep on
maintain
affording
that.
just to maintain it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
don't
It's like
realize that the 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 real happiness in life is, I think, not in those material things. The real happiness in life is in experiences, which costs money. It's in
yep.
relationships, which
Yep.
costs money. But in
Yep.
reality, people just waste their money on a lot of stupid stuff. And if
Yep.
you're looking to, be free, have like the best lifestyle, it's a lot cheaper than I think most people would expect.
Yeah. It's basically like the same term as like trying to keep up with the Joneses, basically, right? Like just in a way, like, oh, this person is doing this, and oh, let me try to match him and buy this car because my neighbor's got this car. Is that like Is it the same
Exactly,
thing or
and it's
yeah.
basically because with the golden handcuffs, you
Yeah.
can't leave your job,
Right,
right?
right. Yep.
Because your lifestyle just costs too much to maintain, and if you were
Yep.
to take a less paying job, like let's say you were making $500,000 a year, and if you were
Yep.
to take a job that's making like $250,000 a year, all of a
It's over.
sudden it's
Yeah.
over. You can't do
Yep.
anything.
Yep. I feel that.
So
I
that's
feel
kind
that.
of the golden handcuffs. They got you. You're a
Yeah. Oh
slave,
yeah.
even
Whew.
you're a well-paid slave, but you're still a slave.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I feel like I was there at some point, and then I just cut down all my bills. I was like, yeah, nah, I don't need this. I don't need that. Yep. Screw this. Screw that. And I was like, all right, just bare minimum. Pay my bills. Eat what I have to eat, and then now everything goes to Bitcoin. I like that. That's a good term.
You know what a lot of people are doing right now that's really interesting? A lot of people are
Oh.
moving international. So I
Oh.
had a friend, you're a nurse, obviously,
Yep.
nurse HODL. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew a girl and she worked as a nurse
Mm-hmm.
and she got caught, or I mean, caught is the
Mm.
right word. She
Yeah.
accidentally left some pills in her pocket, right? One
Ooh.
day.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a big deal. So she got fired
Yeah.
immediately. And
Yeah.
she had, I think, very, very little money at the time. And her solution, she moved out to Thailand, started
Mm-hmm.
living like a queen. She
Oh
became
yeah.
an influencer.
Yep.
And
Oh
she
wow.
is living like on top of the world right now because she got
Yeah.
fired as a nurse and because she moved to a place where it's way
Life was
cheaper to
cheap.
live.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So she's posting on Instagram and she's living like the best life possible. And I'm thinking to
Jesus.
myself, what the hell am I still doing in the
Yeah.
United States? The only thing that's keeping me here is my dogs. I love my dogs. I have 3 of
Yeah.
them, and they're hard to move with. But if shit hits the fan,
Man, these
I'm taking
dogs,
them to El
man.
Salvador. I'm taking them to Indonesia, Thailand.
Yep, yep, yep.
We're just gonna
That's
live like
crazy.
kings and
Yeah,
retire.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because, like, if you think about it, a lot of people could retire a lot earlier if they move to a different country where life is cheaper. And I know a lot of immigrants. They that's what they do. They come to America, they work, and then when it's time to retire, they're like, okay, give me my money, and I'm going back home. But unfortunately, sometimes going back home is not always the safest place. So, that just, sets them back a little bit. But, that's it's actually I guess a good way to like preserve, more of your money, I guess.
Yeah.
Retiring in a third world country. Not necessarily a third world country, but like somewhere that's like, cheaper to live, I guess.
I mean, the
Yeah.
United States is so
It's
expensive to
way
live
too
in.
expensive. Yeah.
And you know why that is, and Bitcoin fixes this.
Yeah.
I don't know if fix is necessarily the right word, but Bitcoin
Yep.
changes this because
Yeah.
all the assets in the United States have been financialized across the world. So
Yep.
we get all this cheap stuff coming in, but
Yep.
in exchange, all of our assets like housing just skyrockets.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen what the house the cost of like mansions in other parts of the world?
In other parts of the world, not really. No, I haven't. No,
Okay.
I've been looking at strictly, the United States. Honestly, I haven't looked around. No, how
So
how,
this
how
is
bad is it?
several years ago, right?
Uh-huh.
I was paying for a luxury,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I use that in air quotes because I don't think it was luxury, but I was paying for a luxury apartment
Yeah.
in the Midwest, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And it was X amount of money. And the girl that that moved to Thailand, she did like a little Instagram post where she showed off her house and how much she was paying. Her
Mm.
house was like on the beach. It looked like it was straight out of like an Architectural Digest magazine. It had a
Wow.
spa. I think it had a private pool. It was just beautiful
Dang.
villa. And it was like half the cost of my luxury apartment, which was not
Dang.
very luxury.
Ooh, man, I might need to move, man.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's like what the hell are we doing there? And it was
Yeah.
filled with sunshine,
Yep. Yep. Man, oh, yeah. I might need to like, I don't know. I need to go see that. Honestly, that's crazy. Because here it's like if you don't have, I mean, unless you plan on going into debt, it's like 400,000, 500,000, and then obviously $1 million homes everywhere around here. So it's kind
Where
of,
are
I don't
you
know.
at?
I'm in Maine. I'm in Maine.
Maine?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of, I mean, up there it's I think the average home is around 400K ish.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that feels
Yeah.
cheap.
That's better than most people,
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah,
that
yeah.
feels
But
really cheap.
but still you think about it, it's like 400,000 for a house though. It's like really, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's still because by the time if you take a 30-year mortgage, by the time you're done paying that, I mean, it's probably gonna cost you $1 million unless you get tenants to help, cover some of that cost. But like,
I mean,
I don't
honestly,
know.
if you have a 30-year mortgage,
Hmm.
I will bet you that by the end of that 30 years, the tax on that house, the
Oh,
yearly
yeah.
tax will be more than $400,000
Yeah.
based
Ooh.
on how the dollar is going.
Yeah. Oh man, I know that's a scary time because I'm still renting. I mean, I'm not born like that where I'm not trying to jump into no mortgage yet. Maybe eventually. I mean, I know that might because I know there's that a lot of Bitcoiners says you never sell your Bitcoin, but part of me is like, do I want to sell some of my Bitcoin to buy a house at some point eventually? Maybe when Bitcoin, does what it needs to do, or do I use some of that fiat and abuse the system and try to get a low rate and get a house like that with a cheap loan? So I've been thinking about that, but I don't know. Still trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't know yet.
I mean, I can't answer for you because that's like a
No, yeah,
personal decision.
that's
But I
fair.
would
Yeah.
say for me,
Hmm.
I would never want to own a house while a house is still being used as a normal store of value. Because
So
as
yeah.
long as these houses are financialized and people
Yeah.
use them as a store of value and investment accounts, I
Yep.
want to stay away from the house for
Yep.
one specific reason.
Hmm.
Bitcoin is going up faster.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's true.
every
That's true.
dollar that I put into owning a house is
Yeah.
a dollar I'm not putting into Bitcoin. And to be
Hmm.
completely honest, the fact that I was able to not have the fact that I was able to rent for so long
Hmm.
helped allow me to get the stack that I have because I just kept putting all of that into Bitcoin.
Yeah, I see. I see. I see. But like, here's the thing, though. Like, how long do you think that will last? That's the thing. It's like, do you think? I feel like the adoption is still pretty low, obviously. But like, do you think that's gonna take people a while to realize that? Oh, like having a house as a store of value is actually a horrible idea, especially with like you said, the taxes, the repairs, the tenants. There's so many other like counter. I guess I don't know what's the proper term I'm looking for. Right? Like so many other like
There's a lot of factors to consider.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's the store value part of it. It's just it's only the price of the house is only going up because the dollar is losing value, while the houses are just they need more and more repairs every single year. So there's no real value there. It's just I guess I don't know, like a mine F. I guess it's not
Yeah,
it's not
I
that
mean, it's a
valuable.
store of value because we have to use store of values when the dollar is deflating in
Right,
value.
right, right. It's just the amount of homes are increasing at a slower rate than the dollar. That's how I see it. It's not really that valuable. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, that's definitely a big part of it. I just think like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, for every second you cannot invest in a house, or for every dollar you cannot invest in a house,
yeah,
that's a dollar that you can invest in Bitcoin, and you're
that's
just going to
fair.
go up because,
That's
I
fair.
mean, at
Yeah,
the end of the
and
day, you just want to be rich, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, well, I don't know about the term. I've kind of like moved away from the term rich. I've like financially free is my new thing now. You know what I'm saying? Like where I don't have to go to work because I need to like where I can afford to pay everything and not feel like I'm obligated to like slave away. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't need to be a millionaire, but like if I can, afford my, everything and not have to like feel like, oh, here we go again. I gotta go to,
Yeah. So when I
then
say rich, being
yeah,
rich means you don't have to slave away at a job.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
say that the people
yeah,
making $1 million a year at a job that they absolutely hate, those people are poor. Those people are just
yeah,
well-paid slaves.
yeah,
When I
yeah.
say
No,
rich, I mean you have a lot of money, which allows you to live the lifestyle that you want to live. If you're not
yeah.
living the lifestyle you want to live, there's no point in having the money.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's a crazy topic though. That's a crazy topic. But back to Bitcoin though. When did that
Yeah.
first click for you?
Back to Bitcoin, man. Question:
Yeah.
when do you think I got into Bitcoin? Or when do
When
you think I
you
first heard about Bitcoin? And I want to
when
know that
you
your answer too. Like, when did you first hear about Bitcoin?
I think didn't you tell us like back in like early 2010s? I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
heard
okay.
you say that
Yeah, we
actually.
did
So
have a
that's kind of
conversation.
cheating. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
So
that's
I first heard about it in like 2011-ish.
yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I don't remember exactly. I could probably go back and check, but the price was, more or less the cost of a sandwich or a few sandwiches.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Not
Shit.
not that much. And the way that I found it was because one of my buddies, really funny guy, he was buying and selling drugs on Silk Road, and he
Oh
was
yeah,
making
yep,
loads of it. So he's like,
yep,
I remember exactly where I was. I was at this park, and he's like, dude, there's this new crazy currency, and like it allows me to like buy these drugs on the Silk Road. And I was
yeah,
like, I don't know what the Silk Road is, and like, but I was like, it sounded kind of intriguing to me because just naturally, it's like, oh man, there's this underground currency called Bitcoin,
yep,
like that's kind of cool. So I didn't hate it at first, but then I started hearing a little bit more about it because I just ignored it, right?
yeah,
Because
yep.
most people do.
That's what we do. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. And I started getting a little more into it. When I say into it, I started hearing a few more things about it. I wasn't into it at all.
Mhm.
And then at one point, I just remember I was looking at, do you know Tim Draper?
Tim Driver, I'm not sure.
He was a really big Bitcoin venture capitalist back in the day. I mean, he's still like a multi-billionaire, but
Oh,
he was the one first creating price targets of like $250,000 back in like 2015 or something like that. But
okay, yep, yep. I see him.
yeah, but he had a special. It was called like Draper Funds or Draper Studio, something like that, Draper something,
Mhm.
and he was
Yep.
investing in Bitcoin companies. And I remember reading this article, and because remember I was into startups at the time. I
Yep.
remember reading this article and I was like, these guys are all freaking idiots. Like, Bitcoin is stupid. I didn't know anything about Bitcoin at the time, but I was like,
Yeah,
Bitcoin is
yeah.
so stupid, whatever.
Yep.
But then I kind of got into it a little bit more. I started hearing things. And then I remember when I first bought it, I was listening to, do you know who Jason Calacanis is?
I've heard that name. Yeah, I've heard that
He's
name
like
before.
a
Yes.
Bitcoin hater, right? He's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bitcoin
yeah, yeah.
hater
Yep.
on the
Yep,
internet.
yep, yep.
And he had a podcast called Twist, This Week in
Uh-huh.
Startups, and a fantastic podcast. I absolutely loved
Mhm.
it. But he had like a little newscast, and he said Bitcoin hit another record today, hitting $2,000. It just broke $2,000.
Yep.
And I was like, I've been hearing about this thing for like 5 or 6 or 7 years now, however long it's been.
Damn.
I'm just
Yep.
gonna buy some because I had just
Yep.
started getting into investing. I had just gotten a job, like that allowed me to like pay some, like buy some investments. I'm like, I'm just gonna buy some. So I'm like, I'm gonna buy one Bitcoin
Yep.
just to, because
Just to
I can
see.
afford to lose one Bitcoin's
Yeah.
worth of two thousand
Yeah.
dollars. I can
Yeah.
afford it.
Yeah. That's crazy to say now. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I'm just gonna buy one Bitcoin, and if it goes to zero, it goes to zero.
Yep.
And so I go on to Coinbase. I download Coinbase because I didn't have it on
Mhm.
my phone. I type in all my information. They let me through all the KYC processes, and I go into click buy $2,000 worth of Bitcoin. And by that point, the price of Bitcoin is already $2,900. It had
Mhm.
jumped like
Damn.
50% in like 2 hours
Just
since the podcast. I was
yep.
like, screw this. But I was like, I'm just gonna buy it anyways.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I
Yep.
bought it anyways. I bought that Bitcoin. And then literally the next day, within hours, not even the next day, within like 4 hours, it crashed. It crashed like 30%, 40%. And I was like, well, I guess all my money is just completely lost. But I was like, I'm just going to hold on to it because I'm willing to let this thing go to zero.
Yep.
I had that mentality from the beginning. So I held on to it. And about a month later, it shot past up $3,000. This is all in like early 2017.
Yep.
It shot past up $3,000. And I was like, wow, why the hell is this thing up so high? Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. My other
Yep.
stocks aren't doing this.
Yeah.
And then I found Andreas Antonopoulos on the internet. I started
Ah.
listening to him, and I
Yep.
was like, this thing is so much bigger than a stock. This thing is so much bigger than gold. This thing is so much bigger than real estate.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to really learn about it. I would say it took me about a year of really learning about Bitcoin. And when I say I learned about it, I watched endless Andreas Antonopoulos videos. I
Yep.
read his book, Mastering Bitcoin. I'm a software engineer by trade
Yep.
at this point. So I was able to do it. I built my own Bitcoin wallet to
Oh
learn the
wow.
technology. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. That's impressive.
To learn the technology.
Yep.
And at this point, I was like so fascinated with everything, how it worked, like the HD wallet key derivation process, the Bitcoin mining, every aspect of the technology. I was like, this thing is so
Yeah.
freaking special.
Yep.
And I went ahead and right around the bottom of 2018, right around near the bottom of that bear market, I was just like, fuck it. I dumped all my savings into Bitcoin. I dumped my my life savings into it, and I was like, I
Yep.
know this
Yep.
thing's going up. And
Yeah.
then since then, every extra dollar that I've had, I've been continuously TCAing since then.
Yeah, I
So
like that. Wow, what a story, man. That's like damn perfect. I mean, it's good that you got it at that time. It's like it couldn't be any perfect because it's like right before every other adoption. Because I wish I got into it like around like the low, what is it, $1,000. I think the first time I got into it was in 2019ish, where I was still like in nursing schoolish, finishing nursing school. Yeah, about to like, I'm thinking about my retirement. I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna retire at 65, but like, how do I like shorten that time a little bit? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be
yeah,
65 and still like, like, oh,
hustling and
let me go on
bustling. Yeah.
vacation and trying to not break my back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, how do I make that happen? And then I think I wish I remembered somebody said uh to start with, like 50% in the S&P 500. I have a percentage in individual stock, and then maybe have 5% in cryptos, not Bitcoin, in cryptos. And I was like, okay, sure. And then I think I opened the app. I think eToro was the first app that I bought Bitcoin and Ethereum on, and then I
A few
had
others.
Coinbase. Yep. And then, oh yeah, I had, oh god, I Jesus, there's a lot. I know I had Cardano at some point, Polygon. I had so many different ones. Oh my goodness, I got at least 10 different cryptos. And then
So my
uh,
biggest my biggest bad thing that I did,
yeah,
I bought Ether, I bought Ripple,
yep,
but the
yep.
stupidest one I probably bought was, have you ever heard of IOTA?
No, actually, I've not. No,
Yeah, it's
I
not
have
worth
not.
knowing about.
No. Yeah, oh no, yeah, I bet. Big
That
time
was
rug pulled, huh?
yeah, that was during the hype because
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I bought it right at the beginning of the bull market, and then you
Yep.
think you're a genius, and then
Yep.
Bitcoin hits almost $20,000, and you're like, every crypto to the moon. So I
Every
bought
yeah.
all of those and IOTA. I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
am I doing
Ooh, man.
buying
Yeah. Oh yeah.
IOTA?
I think we all have to learn from our mistakes. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of these coins just terribly crash. I mean, like I mean, still the other ones are still trying to survive the top whatever 5 or whatever. But like the thing is, I think when I first started investing, I invested in like a bunch of different ones, and then I was doing the process of elimination thing where I'm like, oh, okay, what does this one do? Okay, trash. What does this one do? Okay, trash. And then I'm trying to eliminate which one do I want to keep. And then I think, and then somebody was talking about Safety Moose, and then
Yeah.
I read
Bitcoin
his
standard.
book. Oh my god, yeah. So I went and read the Bitcoin Standard, and then after I read that book, I was like, okay, if this is true, then everything I know is just like everything I know about money, like is like I don't know. I was just like, no, there's no way he can be right about this because I was never told this. This is impossible. So like I went
When
and
none of us are told it. That's the
yeah,
thing.
exactly. None of
Yeah.
us, nobody knows about this. So I'm like, oh, so I did my research. I read a book. I read a book that's actually called the History of Money itself. And then there is a
You wrote it?
guy. Huh?
You
No,
wrote
no,
it or you
it's
read it?
called no. I read it. I read it. Sorry, I read it. So I
Okay.
read the History of Money, and then I went on YouTube. There's this guy called Professor Jonathan Barth. He has like a class about the history of money. Like it's like 99 to 100 videos, and I watch all of that. Like it's like it talks from like the beginning of time, from like the Roman Empire to like everything. It's like such a perfect class online. I think he posted that during COVID. And after I read that one, I was like, okay, Bitcoin it is. I started learning about Bitcoin, read all the books. Like I was just like, this is like I'm like selling out of all my other investment. Just I'm like, okay, Bitcoin. Like I'm just like consuming Bitcoin content and also putting everything I have into this thing. Cause I was like I've been doing this for well, not 30 years, but like 20 plus years. And I felt like I was behind. I felt like I couldn't sleep. I felt like I was like, oh my God, if I don't hurry up and get as much as possible, like this thing is gonna leave me behind. And then now I'm finally like, okay, I've done all my research. I've done everything I could. Now I can relax. I have my Bitcoin.
You're
All I can do
golden.
is keep walking, keep working, and keep DCA, and I'm chilling now. I know what I know. I don't care if Bitcoin drops to $10,000 as long as the protocol is still intact. As long as like we still have 21 million Bitcoins, I'm chilling. I don't care. Like I know the truth now.
And what
So
you said is so important. You said
yeah,
even if Bitcoin drops to $10,000, you don't care.
yep,
The people that have studied it, the people that have put in the work,
mm-hmm.
like you,
Yep,
I think you said it the other day. It was like, dude, I don't even see the price anymore. It's all
right,
just noise. It
yep,
doesn't matter. That's how
yeah,
you could tell if somebody understands Bitcoin or not. If they get
yeah,
scared when the price drops, because a
yeah.
lot of people just buy it
Oh
thinking that
yeah,
it's gonna be the next,
yeah,
it's going to go up,
yeah.
only go up, and they don't understand that it's volatile.
Right.
Those people
Yeah.
get wiped out, and I feel
Oh
bad
yeah.
for those people because
I
they
know
get the
it's hard. It's hard. Like because we're measuring Bitcoin with like so like I think I wish I remember his name. He explained it perfectly. It's like so I also made a video about it. Like the reason why you can like create like 5 different homes in like 5 different places and make them look exactly the same is because like if let's say you tell somebody like hey make this exact length and this exact height like an inch is gonna be the same inch in another country. A centimeter or a foot is gonna be the same measurement in every other country. But the
yeah.
dollar, what we use to measure Bitcoin, is going to be different in every single country. So we are like measuring Bitcoin with the wrong like tool. That so if we start measuring Bitcoin with like 100 one Bitcoin is 100 million satoshis. If we start measuring Bitcoin the proper way, people would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like that's just we are literally measuring it with a ruler that changes all the time. That's the way I see it.
Bitcoin
So
is the new yardstick. Bitcoin
yeah,
is the
exactly,
new needle.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
I know. Like, I'm like, it's just that simple to me. But explain that to a newbie, it
Oh, they think
sounds
we're crazy. They think
yeah,
we're
oh
in like
yeah,
a cult or like
yeah.
whatever.
What is this guy smoking?
Dude, oh my God. That was the other thing. Like when I
Yeah,
really got into Bitcoin, I have all these people. I remember like a lot of people talking, even like some like in my like extended family, just saying like, you're gonna lose all your money. Just if you
yeah,
I can't talk
yeah,
to normal people about it because they
yeah,
look at me like I'm A
yeah.
crazy, B like I'm
Yep,
gonna lose all my money.
yep.
And three, they kind of like get mad about it sometimes. Like
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
this on Twitter, like all the time. They're like,
yeah,
oh, Bitcoin. And it's
yeah,
like, dude, you can be as mad as you want, but like I'm the one that can retire right now.
yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. Like it's like now I don't push it on people anymore. Like if you have questions, come ask me. I'm happy to help. I mean, I'll post my videos online, of course, for anybody who's willing to like watch them. But like, I'm not gonna just like be like, hey, buy some. I'm like, hey, man, like
Yeah.
you will get it eventually because I feel like people don't feel the pain yet. I
Which
think
is
sometimes,
good, I think,
yeah,
right? Because like we don't
right,
want
right,
you
right,
to feel
right, right,
pain.
right. Because I mean, if you know, like nobody's asking why the prices of everything around them is going up. Nobody, people are like,
Well,
oh,
they are, but
yeah,
it's either Trump did it or
cool,
Biden did
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And it's
It's
one
like,
of the two.
but like, what's the real reason? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't try to get to the bottom of it. If they did, hey man, that would, I don't know, but maybe someday we'll get there where everybody's on the same page. But at the same time, like, do you like do you think that like I think uh I was talking to somebody else about this. Do you think like Bitcoin is going to be like the way that we're gonna adopt Bitcoin? Do you think it's going to be like in the background, like everybody's gonna use it, but not really know how valuable it is, or do you think most people are gonna understand Bitcoin, maybe not just the way that we do, but like at least like to some degree where they understand, oh, inflation is bad and all of that.
I
You know,
think, and you're asking me to like speculate on the future, which
that's my bad.
no, and then that's totally cool because I'm happy
Yep.
to do that. But
Yeah.
this is all speculation. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah. Right. 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 Right.
But if I had to guess,
Yep.
I think that most people that at a certain point in the future, most people are going to be using Bitcoin, and it's just going to be completely normalized. There's going to be nothing special about it. They're going to be using Bitcoin in the same way that we used to use the dollar growing up. It's like, oh, ma, it's $20. Can I get it? And then she'll be like, yeah, it's, oh, ma, it's 20 sats. Can I get it? Yeah, that's fine. It's
Yeah.
there's going to be nothing special about it at all. These podcasts, they're going to go away.
Oh yeah. Nobody's gonna be interested in learning about this. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. It's like us talking about the dollar. It's like nobody cares.
Exactly. I think that that's probably what's going to happen. Could I be wrong? Yeah. And then in terms of like when it's going to happen, that's the other thing. And this is more interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's going to take time.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a lot longer than people realize. And like, don't get me wrong. I want Bitcoin to be worth $10 million tomorrow. Like that would be fantastic. I don't even know what I would do.
Yep.
But I just feel like some people are never going to get it. And in order for Bitcoin to be fully adopted, I think that a lot of the people that are, Bitcoin naysayers right now, without risk of sounding morbid, like they're just going to have to die off.
Yeah. Yep. I feel that. Yeah. No, I know. It's like if it goes too fast, that's good for us, but also bad for some
for
others
everyone
that
else.
don't. Yeah.
That's the
No,
other
I feel
thing.
that.
Like if we were to become a hyper Bitcoinized society like next year, what that implies is that the dollar and the rest of the U.S. economy had a total meltdown and stuff crashed and people are really freaking hurt. And that's a world that I don't want to live in.
Right. And it's not just the dollar. Like we're talking America only, but like imagine like everywhere else. It's like, I mean, their currencies are, not the best. So it's, I don't know. I would not want to be there. And
countries go through hyperinflation all the time.
Yeah.
And I told you I'm doing a video on Iraq. Iraq went through hyperinflation in the 90s. And and unfortunately, people go through that stuff all the time. And when that happens, it leads to havoc. Like you don't want to live in those worlds. You don't want to live in those countries. You want to escape them. So if we can trade off being, uber wealthy for a few years in order to maintain stability in the country, I think that's a good thing. But who knows what's actually going to happen?
Who knows? Yeah, no, that's fair. No, that's true. Oh, I wanted to get to that. You wrote a book, man. Hold on, you wrote a book.
I did write a book.
Hold on, you gotta tell us about that one, man, because I haven't read it yet, but I plan on doing that.
You gotta read it, man.
Tell us? Yep. Oh, I will. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about it without like spoiling the whole book, of course?
Yeah. So if I could sum it up into one sentence.
Yeah.
This is the book that would have convinced me to buy Bitcoin back when I was still laughing at Bitcoin. In order to learn about it and to learn the important things about it, you need to study it. You need to learn about it from a lot of different sources, and it takes a lot of time. I condensed all of that into one tiny little book, and it explains everything you need to know about the basics of Bitcoin. There are parts that I gloss over. That's okay, but it gets into a little bit of the technicals, and more importantly than the technicals, it gets into the why. It gets into the why do we need Bitcoin? What makes it important? And how is it different than everything else? And there's a framework that I use that I actually put into it. And basically it explains what makes Bitcoin special. It has the 8 rules of Bitcoin, I call it. And then you go through all of those rules and then you can compare them to any other asset, any other cryptocurrency. Is it open? Is it neutral? Is it borderless? Is it decentralized? Is not one of them. Does it have a predefined monetary policy? You go through all these different elements, and when you go through them, you realize that Bitcoin is so freaking special. So we were talking about strategy and 21 Capital yesterday,
right?
And if you just put them through, my basic framework, is it neutral? No, it's not neutral. Those things are designed to help the people that started them the most. Bitcoin is designed to help everyone evenly. Like those ones have leadership. Bitcoin doesn't have leadership.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll come before I forget. You said the decentralized is not included in that the eight the eight list? Like, what?
Correct.
How come decentralized is not included actually?
Because I think decentralization is one of the properties that comes from all the other aspects of Bitcoin.
Okay, fair
It's one of
enough.
the things that allows the rules of Bitcoin to happen.
Yep.
It's not something that's necessarily, it's something that's required in order for the rules to happen, but it's not one of the rules itself.
Oh, okay,
So,
I see.
um,
Okay.
and more than that, this is also like a big part of the reason why I didn't do it. People have co-opted that term. So a lot of things you hear about, like decentralized and name only, like they talk about Ethereum being decentralized. Ethereum's not decentralized. They talk
Yeah.
about Ripple being decentralized.
God no.
Ripple is not decentralized at all. People like to use that term as like a scammy selling product.
Yep.
And I just said, that's not actually one of the important. It is important in Bitcoin, but instead of it's not helpful. So I just
Yeah, I
don't even
see.
include it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, okay. And like, out of like, what inspired you to write that book actually?
Because everyone was coming to me asking me about Bitcoin. They're like,
Yeah.
they know like I'm the
The same
Bitcoin guy in
questions,
my
huh?
group. Yeah, you're
Yep.
probably the Bitcoin guy in your group. So I
Yep.
just wrote everything down, explained it to them.
Yep.
And some people have read it and they really, really like it a lot. So the book is called What is Bitcoin? Your First Step Down the Rabbit Hole. Like,
Yep. I'll put a link in the description so people can find that as well.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
But
dope.
I was just gonna say it's like the title says it all. It's like your
Yeah.
first step. There's
Yeah.
there's a lot more to learn. Like the rabbit hole of Bitcoin is endless.
Oh yeah.
But if
You
you
never
want
stop
to
learning. Yeah.
go from zero to hero, like this is a book and
Yeah.
it'll help clarify everything in Bitcoin and the general crypto space and explain why Bitcoin is
Yeah.
not like the rest of crypto.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. What do you think, based on, like, from talking to other people, what do you think has been like one of the most misunderstood things about Bitcoin so far?
Well, people just generally have no concept of what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's just, yeah, yep,
and
yeah.
I was
They're
like,
like,
that's
oh,
another
Bitcoin,
thing I
that's
talk
a
to.
scam. Oh, yeah. I heard
Yeah.
somebody on a podcast said, oh, it's gonna go to zero.
So one of the problems that I have, right, with a lot of the ways that people explain Bitcoin is they explain it as money. And I
Mhm.
understand why they do that because Bitcoin is money. It's the best money. And so when they say, oh, Bitcoin is the best money, they expect everyone to listen. But if you're a newbie and you have no idea, about the history of money, how it works, all of that stuff, and you hear that Bitcoin is money, it will lead to a certain set of questions. And those questions are like, well, okay, who's using it to pay for things? Because you use money to pay for things, right? And then you start realizing, well, I've never seen anybody transact in Bitcoin. Some people have, but for the most part, the
Yeah,
amount of transactions in Bitcoin, like as a day-to-day currency, do not warrant it being bigger than Amazon right now or Google or
right,
whatever it's
right.
however big it is. So I separate that and I talk about that right out of the gate. And I say, listen, what Bitcoin really is it's two things. It's a monetary, it's an entire financial system first. And when I say it's an entire financial system, we're talking about the Fed. It's responsible for creating new money, like pushing money into the system. It's responsible for helping you store your money, like banks. It's responsible for helping you move your money, like payment processors like Visa and all of that. And it has this entirely amazing 8 set of rules, which are very different from all the traditional financial systems that we use today. And then, in addition to being an entire financial system, it's the money itself. So Bitcoin is the entire US financial system and the dollar. And you cannot
Mhm.
separate the two things.
Yep,
And
yep.
so like so to answer your question, what's the biggest misconception? People don't understand that it's an entirely alternate financial system.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Something I was thinking about the other day was, I like, so, like, for example, like, I'm from Haiti originally, and like, I
Okay, the
speak three
Caribbean,
different
man.
languages. Yep, yep. I speak three different languages, and in America, people are like, oh, I just speak English and that's it, right? Do you think, like, not every American, of course, but like, for the most part, Americans tend to be like, they think that their country is the best, what they do
Yeah.
is the best, the dollar is the best, and then nothing, everything else is trash, right? Like not everybody, just saying, but like I'm American, by the way, don't come after me. But like, do you think like that mentality of like, oh yes, that what we do is the best might cause America to adopt? Once again, I'm asking you to speculate again. I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. But
No,
like, do
this
you
is
think
good.
that mentality
Yeah.
is gonna cause Americans to adopt Bitcoin last? Because I've seen videos of like other countries, like Nigeria, and like there are other countries that are using Bitcoin as forms of payments already. And do you think that's gonna like cause Americans to like maybe not be last, but like be slower to like accept it unless the government does something where it's like the national, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question. And
Yeah.
the answer is I think it's going to cause some Americans to adopt the last. Because obviously I'm
Yeah.
American too. You're American
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
We've adopted it
Yeah.
relatively early compared to the rest of the world.
Right.
But one of the things that you have to realize, and I think you already realize this, but the United States is rich, and the United States is the quote unquote best country in the world, the richest country in the world, most powerful country in the world, because it exploits the Jesus out of every other country in the world. Like
Yeah.
our entire financial system is designed around exploiting other countries and exploiting other people. Like people are talking about these trade deficits right now. Oh, we have a trade deficit. Like, yeah, that's the point. Like, we want the trade deficit because all we have to do is we have to print out dollars, which are really easy to print out, give them to the people in the United States, and then we can go overseas to the people that are willing to value them at a lot higher rates and get their actual valuable materials. And because we have the ability to do that, we can do things like have child sweatshops in Asia or Africa or whatever, which is not really good, but it keeps the prices of things really, really cheap. And as a result, it makes it so that manufacturing in the United States can't compete, because if we want to have this same standard of living, like we can't afford to pay American workers 3 cents an hour. Like that's just something Americans aren't gonna go for. But we can't exploit Americans, but we can exploit people in other countries. And our entire financial system is designed around that, for better or for worse. For better for the people in the United States, for worse for the rest of the world. This is a little bit controversial, but at the end of the day, people in the United States, some people realize that the system has been treating them really, really good. And if you're the one getting advantage of that system, especially the people at the top of the United States, those people want to keep that system in place for as long as possible, because if your entire well-being is dependent on the exploitation of other people, you don't want a fair society. You want to keep on exploiting them, because if you stop exploiting them, it means you're going to be a whole lot poorer. And so for those people in the United States, they hate Bitcoin. They're going to do their best to stop Bitcoin at every instance, because it means that they can't exploit the people underneath them as much as they can now. And for everyone else in the United States that realize that they're getting exploited too, from the people at the even top, from the upper echelons of American society, they're like, screw this. This system isn't fair for me either. I'm going to go into Bitcoin and I'm going to buy Bitcoin too. So to answer your question, some people are going to adopt it last. Those people are going to lose, and I feel bad for them.
And also it's got, well, I guess it's a good thing, because you when you look at like all the people in like the administration right now, from the president, the vice president, the FBI director, all basically, I feel like almost all of them have Bitcoin. So it almost feels like it's getting to that point where it's like, if we don't get this done now, where America starts adopting it, not that I care. I mean, I no matter what, I'm gonna keep buying my bag. But like, I feel like this next couple of year. I mean, by the way, I'm not. This is not a political channel. By the way, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I care about Bitcoin. That's all I care about.
Me
But
too,
I feel
man. I
like
love
this
Bitcoin.
is the year that America should adopt it, because obviously we know that the previous administration was not really pro crypto, pro Bitcoin. So I don't know. I feel like hopefully this happens in the next 3 years ish, but we'll
You know,
see.
I would hope, but I really do feel like the road for Bitcoin is long. The
Yeah,
road to mass Bitcoin adoption is very, very long, and we're
yeah,
still at the very beginning of it. People
yeah,
don't believe that because the price is like $100,000,
yeah.
but it's not going to be a one president turnover type thing.
I
And I
see.
could be wrong here. I could very well be wrong. In fact, if I am, the more wrong I am, the more uber wealthy I become, like tomorrow. But I do think it's going to take a lot longer than people expect. But it's
Yeah,
still going
yeah.
to be the best performing asset, over the next few decades, I think.
Yeah. How do you go about talking about prices being like $100,000? How do you explain to people that are like, oh well, I'm not gonna buy Bitcoin because this Pepe coin is 0.005 cents. Let me buy a few of those instead because I can be a millionaire if it goes to $10. You know what I'm saying? How do you go about explaining that part to people? Like
Dude, I
you have
already
a
have my Bitcoin. I'm good. I don't need to explain anything to anybody. I just go out and live my best life.
you're like, screw it, man. You do you, buddy.
But no, I think no. I mean, I want to help people. That's really why I start these channels. I really do want to help people and explain it to them. But if somebody doesn't want to hear it, they don't want to hear it. You can't help someone that will that doesn't want to be helped. So
Mhm.
if somebody comes to me and they start asking me like seriously, like should I buy Bitcoin or should I buy Ethereum or Ripple or whatever? Can you help me understand this? Then I will take the time. I will take all of my time. I'll take way more time than I should to help these people out and explain that to them. But if you're just coming to, you know,
Yeah.
you I can't if you don't want to
I
be
feel
helped,
you.
I don't want to. That's fine.
I know. You know, like they say, you can bring the horse to water, but you cannot
Yeah,
make it drink. So it's your choice, I guess. Now
yeah,
no, I feel that. I feel that. Last two questions for you. Other
yeah.
than that number grow up technology, how else has Bitcoin changed you so far?
Man, it's just made my life better, man. I'm like free, dude. I do whatever I want. I mean, all I
Yeah.
do, I have a job. It's fine. Um, I enjoy going to it every day,
Yep.
but now I'm just traveling. I don't have to worry about retirement anymore. I don't have to worry about XYZ. I still do because
Mhm.
the amount of Bitcoin you have, it'll never be enough.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to the point where the amount of Bitcoin that I'm stacking now is just minuscule to the amount that I used to be able to be stacking just
Yeah.
because the price has gone up so much higher. So I see
Right.
like my income drop, right? I see my income drop on a Bitcoin level every year. But really,
Mhm.
just in terms of how has it changed me, I'm just living my best life, man. I just travel all the time. Yeah, going to other countries is really important to me. Spending time in nature.
Mhm.
Uh, I got a couple trips coming up. I just had a few trips coming up. I'm thinking one of the things I really want to do is I want to take a few months off and learn to go parasailing. Not parasailing, kite surfing.
Oh, okay,
Kite
okay.
surfing.
Ooh,
The
kite
one where
surfing.
like you're on like a surfboard almost thing,
Yeah,
and you
and
have
then
a
you
parachute.
like, yep, I see. Oh
Yeah,
man,
I want to do that one.
I'm afraid of heights. I hate water. I don't know, man. I don't swim. I don't know, man. Good luck with that one.
Dude, you're from the islands, man. You're
Yeah,
supposed to do that.
I was always a runner. I like ground. I'm a runner. I'm an athlete. I love to, I love earth, but water is I don't know, man.
You don't like heights either?
eh, eh.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. One day,
I'll go on a hike in a mountain, but
no, this is
nah.
what we're gonna do. I'm a
Oh,
big rock climber. I rock climb all over the world,
okay,
right? I
okay.
just did
That
a rock
terrifies me
climbing trip.
sometimes.
What's that?
That terrifies me because of the height.
No, we're
But
going. So I just went
oh
rock climbing
god.
in Brazil like 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks ago. It was like
Yep.
fantastic.
Okay, okay.
And but I got a couple other rock climbing trips coming up. You're gonna come on one of them with me. We're gonna
Oh,
have a good time. I'm gonna get
damn.
you
You
to the
gonna
top
make
of the
me out of
mountain.
my comfort zone, man.
Yeah, that's the
Sheesh.
point. You're supposed to be out of the comfort zone.
Ah. Yeah. All right. You know what? It is what it is, man. You
And
gotta
you
try
don't
some new
like
stuff.
water too, dude. You surf?
No.
You gotta surf.
Oh
What do they
God.
do in
What?
Haiti, man? You guys are all. Isn't Haiti just a giant beach?
It is a big island, but I was, I'm from Port-au-Prince. It's, I don't know, I don't go out on the water. It was dangerous times. We stayed home. We trying to stay safe. I don't know, man. I don't. People think we're just. I wasn't like by the beach necessarily. I'm an island man. I like the ground. I don't know, man. That's just me. I might be the only. I don't think I'm the only Haitian out there that's like that. But oof, you know what? I'm willing to get out of my comfort zone. I'm willing to get out of
Okay.
my comfort zone.
How long did you live in Haiti?
Like 16 years. The first 16 years of my life, I think. Yeah, I came
And how did you end up
here.
in Maine?
We followed an uncle that now married somebody here, and hey, here we are. I did not know about Maine until I came here. Honestly, yeah, it wasn't. We just happened to be here. Honestly, just out of nowhere.
What's the
But yeah,
biggest thing you miss about Haiti? Because I love the Caribbean, but I know that all the Caribbean
honestly,
cultures are very different.
everything, like everything. If the country was safe, I would go back. Like it literally is this, like it's just the safety portion of it. Like if there was like the government was okay, if there was no kidnapping, no fights, no all that civil stuff going on, I would go back. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we get some like natural disasters here and there, but like
Yeah.
man, I miss it all, man. The food, the weather, oh yeah, like I miss it all.
I spend
Honestly.
a lot of time in Puerto Rico, and
Oh yeah,
that's
that's
like
I went there too. I love Puerto Rico. Yeah,
I
that's
go to this
nice.
little beach. It's called Los Hobos Beach, and I go surfing there, man. It's
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
yeah.
You
Next
you a
time
big
you're there,
surfer, huh?
I just try and spend as much time outside whenever I can. It's
I feel that.
I'm a bigger rock climber than anything else,
Okay.
but
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
That's it. It's funny because I went to Puerto Rico and I spent more time in the swimming pool than I did.
No,
I did.
man, no. Dude,
Yeah.
so the great thing about Puerto Rico, next time you go, you got to let me
Yeah.
know 'cause I'll tell you all the good things to go to. But
Uh
they
huh.
got all of these really great caves, like
Okay.
water caves and like watering holes.
Yep.
And you
Yep.
go out into like the boonies in the middle of the island, and you just find these water caves that are freaking beautiful.
Yeah. Okay.
And I always want to go to the spots that are hardest to get to. So
Okay.
I have a thing like me and my girlfriend,
Yeah.
we're probably going to get married soon, right? And we're
Yep.
talking about how she wants to have her wedding, I want to have my wedding. And
Yep.
I had this great idea, and I'm like, listen, what I want to do is let's do a wedding at the top of a mountain, like that's really hard to get to, really really remote, and we
Yeah.
invite everyone. And the only caveat is you just have to
Dude.
get there. We're going to
Y'all,
be the
y'all
only few
evil for
there. It's
that,
going to be
man.
fantastic. Like if you don't want to slog it out like
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
miles and
Yeah.
climb up like a 400-foot like sheer cliff, you don't get to go.
You're gonna have like five people make it on time.
And that's the point, man.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Sheesh, man. No, I love that though. I love that. You know what? I think you're right though. I should honestly, like, I feel like I've been a homebody a lot, and it's nice to like get out and see some new stuff. Honestly, so
So you live in Maine. So are you
yep.
near Acadia at all?
No, I can get there. I can
Yeah,
get there
because
if I need to. Yeah, yeah.
that's one of my things, man. Maybe
Yeah.
we should meet up in
Okay.
Acadia.
Okay.
I'll take
All
you
right.
rock
All right.
climbing.
Yeah. No. Actually, hit me up, man. I'll be down for that. I'll be down for that. I'll be
Okay.
down for that.
That's
Yeah.
the
I like that, man. But last question for you before I let you go, man. I enjoyed the conversation, man. That was
yeah, this
great.
is awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, what advice would you tell yourself? Other
Just
than
buy
buying big
Bitcoin.
more. No, no, no. I know. I was gonna say other than buying more Bitcoin, because I know I would have done the same thing. Uh,
I don't know if I'm that smart, man. I mean, like in all seriousness, it's buy Bitcoin,
yep.
get rich. But I mean, I think I've always had like kind of the lifestyle that I want to live. I'm the type of guy that when I want something, I get it. Um, the things that are important to me are just relationships, like people, and living the lifestyle, not being bogged down by the things that I don't want to do. So
Yep.
having
Yep.
Bitcoin allows me to be me even more.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I don't really have
Yeah.
advice. I just like live
No,
your life, man. Do it.
that's fair.
You got to do what makes you happy.
That's also great
And
advice. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's good. I like that, man. No, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate that. where can people find you for the most part? Are you gonna be mostly on the new YouTube, through the cracks of productions, or are you on
Yeah,
X
yeah,
at
yeah.
all?
Through the
Yep,
cracks at
yep.
Through the Crack Productions at YouTube. That's where I'm going to be putting in all of my creative efforts at this point. I have a bunch of really cool videos coming out. I'm about
Yep.
to put up my newest video. It's going to be absolutely insane, talking about the petrodollar, Saddam Hussein, how it started wars. If you
Mhm.
don't know about it, it's something that I think all Bitcoiners should really, really learn about because it helps put so many things into perspectives. I have a lot of other videos that I'm going to be doing, but it's really going to be all documentary work. Most of the stuff is not going to be about Bitcoin directly, but the stories are going to be absolutely captivating.
Nice. I'm looking
Um,
forward to it.
yeah, and then what else? Yeah, just I have Bitcoin Reactions YouTube channel too. I might be putting more stuff up there, but we do the little talk every
Wednesdays.
Wednesday, so
Yep,
those are
yep, yep.
fun.
I like that. I like that, man. Thanks again for your time, man. I appreciate it. And man, looking forward for that to that video, man.
Thank you. I'm
Yep.
excited to put it out.